Hi guys, welcome to For Those Who Code. In this video, we'll be learning GraphQL with React and building a simple job listing app where we'll go through some fundamentals of working with GraphQL queries as well. For reference, you can also find the link to the GitHub repository down below. So let's get started. For the source of data, we'll be using a free GraphQL API that's provided by graphql.jobs. Here you can get the list of GraphQL jobs available in the market. In the footer down here, you can also find the playground and also the docs. The docs is not properly documented, but we are quite interested in the playground. So this is the UI of the playground right here. So in the right, you can see schema, and meanwhile, the GraphQL jobs documentation is just this much, and the endpoint is open for everybody, so you can free to use it. So talking about the playground, in the right we have schema, and in the left here we can write our queries. So GraphQL and REST API, the thing that differs the most is in the REST API we call the endpoint and receive the data even if we don't need that particular data. For example, we need job position and title, but in the UI we are not showing the title but only the position. Then obviously we receive all the data, position and title as well. But whereas in GraphQL, we receive only the data we need. For example, let's take a look at the schema, and we can find here jobs, and then it has title, slug, commitment, cities, countries, and it goes on and on. But we'll obviously go through some of them. So for now, let's query down our jobs, and let's take a list of just the titles as shown in the suggestion here, title. Let's close it down and let's play them. And as you can see, we have the data successfully, and it's just the titles, right? So if we just need some other things like ID as well, then we can also query down the ID as well. And as a result, we have the title and the ID. And this particular API endpoint is exactly, and it's the same as this one. As you can see, we have the same data in here and here, platformer and platformer, which is the same. So we'll be kind of replicating this particular UI, but obviously we won't be diving into the search functionality or post your job. But maybe in the later videos we can just switch on and work on those functionalities as well. So I have already scaffolded our project with Create React app, and I have added some packages right here as well. So we will make the use of React hooks with Apollo, and then we'll also be using Apollo Boost and GraphQL, of course, and GraphQL tags, and obviously we have the React and React DOM, but we will go through each of them while we code along. So let's close it, and I've also made some folder structures here. First thing is assets, and I've loaded some of the assets that we need in making our application, and I have made a component. Inside here we have the job list and the app header. So it's just two inside our component, and inside GraphQL we'll hitting down the server and fetching our GraphQL query with some data from the endpoint that we discussed. And inside pages we have just the jobs wrapper, which consists of the header we imported from the component, and the style sheet and app, which consists the jobs wrapper itself, and then the index, which is not much of change. Just we have added Node.js for working with our style sheet. So let's start coding our application. We will first start with app.js. Inside here, first of all, I want to import Apollo client from Apollo Boost, and then we'll be also be needing Apollo provider it works just similar to the context API, just wrapping our whole application with that particular tags, just to say. And then I think these two are enough for now. Now let's move ahead and create our constant and name it client. Uh, and this would be a new Apollo client. So, and inside here, we will write down our URI. And for the URI, I will take the URI that we discussed, which is this one right here. So let's paste it right here. And then inside our return, we need to wrap our tags with Apollo provider, just like we need to wrap our tags with Redux provider, and then same goes to context API. So inside here we can pass down the client, which is the client, and inside here we will have the job wrapper. I think we're pretty much done, except we haven't used Apollo provider. Sorry, it should be Apollo client. After finishing this one, let's move on to our building our app header first. So inside our app header, all we got to do is import an asset that we already have, and which is GraphQL logo from. So inside here, we can make the use of that particular asset that we just imported, and the source would be GraphQL. Sorry, this one, and then we also need our alt tag in case of accessibility issues. Taking into consideration about accessibility, GraphQL logo, and then just have this one. So I think we're pretty much okay. Let's try running our application. So far, the application looks good, and we'll be populating data by using the GraphQL query. So let's add some query to hit our server so that we'll get back some data. For that one, we'll make the use of GraphQL tag we just installed before. So GQL from GQL tag, and we'll make a constant and name it get job list GQL, and then inside here we can add our query inside here. So ultimately, let's export default get job list as well. So for our queries right here, we'll first visit our playground. So inside here, and let's visit our GraphQL jobs as well. So you can see the data is loading, and let's try to clone something like this one. So which is we have the title, the company name, the logo, and some tags, and then the country, and also we have if it's remote, then it's a remote as well. And replicating this same, let's try to fetch our data that we need. So for that one, let's go to schema, and then for the jobs we also need an ID. So we have the ID and the title, which is fine. And now we also add tags as suggested. So inside tags, as you can see, we have somewhere here And inside tags, we have the name, which is string. So we'll make the use of the name here. And obviously, the tags are array. So as you can see here, these braces, it's an array. So we also need to get its ID as well in order to map it down and print it into our UI. So ID, and then we have the name as well. So I think these are pretty much fine for our tags. So now other thing we need is we also need is CDs. CDs, as you can see, it has these CDs right here. So for the CDs, we have, let's see what we have for the CDs. For the CDs, we have ID, name, country, and then type. For now, we are interested in ID and name. So ID, and we also get the name. And let's also get down the country as well, because we need country as well. So inside country, we have name. So inside country, we'll get the name of the country as well. So let's specify. Beside these, I think we also need the company name, which is segment. So for that one, also we can go to jobs and then company. Here it is, and then the name. So we have the series and then comma and company and then name. And then we also need is the logo URL, so that we can display our logo right here in the uh, front part of it. So name, and then we also need is the logo URL, and then also I think we also need the type, which is whether it's remote or in the workplace. So we'll also add remote here, remotes, and then we, as you can see here, remote is here as well, but we will go through, let's see, we have company, and then we have remotes here as well. Great. So we'll take down the ID and then the type as well. And you can see the remote is an array. So we also need is an ID and then type. So I think we have a pretty much ready made our queries right here. So let's verify this one, and let's close our schemas. Let's hit on the play button, and as you can see here, we have all the data fetched. For example, logo URL, in case of null, we will handle that inside of our code, and remotes, which is null. So in case of that one, we will handle that one, and then remotes ID type remote, so which is great. So we have all the data that we need. Let's copy our query right here, and let's paste it right here. Let's format a bit, and then yeah, I think we're pretty much okay to get our request. So before that one, we also need to add query right here. So let's save it, and let's split it to the right, and now let's move on to jobs wrapper that we have. And inside here, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get that particular data that we just have prepared. So we will make the use of use query hook uh, provided by Apollo, and then we'll get down that data, and then we'll populate it and print down in a loop. So use query, Apollo React hooks. And then we also need is the job list. We have already prepared, which is this one. We need the job list because we will be passing our props that we received to our job list so that we can look down our list of jobs as well. So let's import our job list as well from our component, which is a step backwards, and then components, and then job list. And then we can also bring down this export function. This export right here. So import get job list from GraphQL and get job list. And then we'll also need to import our app header, but we have already imported our app header. And let's also import our loading, which is currently a loading GIF, which we have here. So if we don't have our data, then we will show that particular loading GIF to our users. So we could have used something like skeleton loading as well, but for now we will go to this one. So which comes from our assets, and then loading.gf const data, and then we have the jobs, which will be an array, and we'll make the use of use query, and we'll pass down get job list query inside our use query. So I think that's pretty much that one. And then let's go to our main. We'll add our section in our main here, and then inside our section we'll make it for now a class name of jobs wrapper. And then what we're going to do is we have the loading, and we have let's suppose we have the data as well. For that one, what we will be doing is we will check down jobs.length, and if the length is greater than 1, then we have a certain UI showing up right here. And then if not, then we have another state of UI showing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So now let's add our loading inside here. So inside here we'll add a div, and then we will close down the div, and then we'll name this div loading. And then inside here we'll make the use of that particular GIF that we have inside our asset right here, which is loading.gif. And for the source, we're going to be using the same loading that we imported here to our source. And then we also need to close it down here, and then add an alt loading. Add a loading here, and inside here, if we have the data, in that case jobs.length is greater than 1, then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna loop down or use a higher order function, which is map, and then inside here we'll pass down the job that we have here, and we'll pass it down here. We'll also make the use of this particular component that we defined earlier, and we'll close it down here. And then we haven't used that job, so we will pass down as a prop to that job. So I think that's pretty much it. So we have the job, and by the way, don't forget to omit out the key. So we need jobs.id, sorry, id. I think this should be in curly braces. So let's save down. Job list is not exported. Okay, great. So now let's take a look at the job list. I think as this one is, we need a bracket because it's a named import, I guess. So yeah, I think it's pretty much working well. So we have the job list, job list, job list. Great. And we have the job list right here, which is also great. So let's see our network, because we already have our use query get job list inside here. So let's print that particular thing into our console, so which is the data that we have. I think let's replace it with jobs, because we are looping down the jobs. And if we take a look at our console, then we must see our data right here, which is great. Yeah, we have all our data which we queried, and which is kind of like the same that we queried right here in the playground. So which is great. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pass down this particular jobs to our the job list right here, and we're gonna loop it down. So let's write jobs here, because we have already passed down the jobs into the jobs and pass down the props, and inside here we have the jobs, right? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have our map. For now, let's try out with jobs dot let's see, jobs dot company dot name. As you must have known, if we need to access something inside and nested objects, then we make the use of dot notation. So jobs dot company dot name, I think that would be fine. So jobs dot company dot name. So let's save it, and let's see it in our UI. Job list, return jobs company dot name. Okay, so I think jobs dot company dot name. I think we forgot the curly braces again. Let's refresh tab on, and bingo, and here we have it. So now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna delete this one. We're gonna add a div, and we'll close down that particular div. And inside here, we're gonna check whether it has the logo or not, because as you can see, in some cases we don't have any logo, but it does have logo here. But inside here, as you can see, inside our logo URL, which is null, so we'll handle that case if the logo URL is empty. So jobs dot company dot logo URL is empty, then we'll print out something. If not, then we'll print out something. We need to add some kind of tags here. So yeah, that's it. So for that one, what we gonna do here is we're gonna add a span tag. So write down span and give it a class name of logo, or let's say no logo, and then inside here we have not available, so which is denoted by NA, and we'll close down that particular span tag. And in case of we do have the logo, then we'll print down the logo inside our img tag. So class name, so class name would be a brand logo, and then the src would be jobs dot company dot logo URL. I still wonder why. Okay, got it. And then let's beautify, or let's say beautify, prettier, whatever. Beautify, beautier, whatever. Now I think we would be pretty much fine with this. Let's take a look. And as you can see, we don't have any logo, any, so not available. All right. So in case of there is our logo, then it comes up. Meanwhile, let's add another div, and inside here we will now the tricky thing here is, as you can see here, we have discussed that we need remote ID and ID of cities, right? So because city is an array, and in order to print out the data inside our array, we need to make the use of higher order function, that is dot map. So for that one, I will just do a small demo here. For that one, we need to loop it down inside our map. We already have a loop dot map here, which is a loop in like which acts like a wrapper to a job list, but inside a job list we'll also have a loop for, let's suppose, loop for our tags as well. So so inside here, what we're going to do here is jobs dot tags dot map. Then we take down the tags as parameter, and then this bracket. Okay, and then we have that printed out inside our li for now. And inside our li, let's not forget what we have discussed earlier, which is we also have the tags. We also have the tags dot id as well, because we queried that particular stuff right here. So tags dot id, and then we'll also make the use of tags dot name, obviously dot name. I think this would be pretty much okay to display out our skill set. Great. Rails, Lambda, serverless, Redux, React, and it's pretty much okay. So now I'll quickly go ahead and add our map function wherever needed behind the scene, and our continue with the rest of the application. I've added our higher order function map in case of needed, wherever we need to access our data inside an array, like tags, cities, remotes. And let's take a look at our application that we have. We have the loader, and here is our data. So we kind of like mimic this one. So inside our console, we don't have any errors, but so an error. But anyway, let's close it down. So we tried it to mimic this particular thing right here, and as you can see, it kind of like matches in a sense, but we obviously don't have the search, as I don't personally see a search query right here. But we do have a poster job, an update job, update company, and subscribe, but we won't be covering in that depth in this particular video, but obviously we'll have it covered in upcoming videos. So we also have this particular image whenever that image are provided like this one. So whenever it doesn't have an image, then we have not available right here. And we also have added a remote and the location, and then skills and title, and the country and the company as well. So guys, I hope you got some initial ideas on making your own GraphQL application. So thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys want to learn more about design and development, please like, share, and subscribe with a click down below. I'll be trying to make more better videos like this. See you in the next one, guys.